It's day 2 of the Paris swimming competition at the Paris 2024 Paralympic Games as we welcome you to the Palais Stade de France arena in Nanterre for this preliminary session. A glorious venue. And it was opened in 2017, but the first time it's hosting swimming. This magnificent aquatic centre was ultimately repurposed for the Paris 2024 Olympic and Paralympic Games. Usually hosts rugby matches, but among the venue's several features is, believe it or not, the world's largest interactive giant screen. It's the equivalent to 7 tennis courts. That is over 1,400 square metres of display area. The pool, though, 50 metres long, it's 25 metres wide, it's got 10 lanes, 8 of which are used in competition. And we're into the second day of competition now with 141 medal events over the 10 days of competition, 71 male and 64 female, plus 6 mixed open relays. It's 5 fewer than Tokyo, but there's still over 600 athletes that will compete over the 10 days of competition at Paris 2024 in the Paris swimming. Well, Italy have been strongest so far in the competition. They started day 1 on a superb note. 8 medals, including 2 golds from 15 events. Great Britain and China also having 2 gold medals, though. Australia, Denmark, Hungary, Japan, Poland, Singapore, Brazil, and the host nation France, each having a single gold as well. Coming up on the schedule today, in this preliminary schedule on day 2, 25 heats in 12 events to be contested this session. The swimmers aim to be among the 8 fastest swimmers in the preliminaries to qualify for the finals. And we've got some star athletes on show, certainly. Deb Gruen is alongside multiple Paralympic Games medalist. And what are you most looking forward to today, Deb?
It's a good lineup. I would say I do love the 400 frees, the S11 women's. You've got the showdown between Brensma and Pagonis. Again, we saw that for the first time in Tokyo, and they've continued to battle it out. Also, you have to talk about the breaststrokes, the SB9 classification. You have Krieger and Zaderfeld, the 2 Dutch swimmers. And then you move to the men, and you've got Stefano Raimondi, who could be challenged. There is a Frenchman, and we saw how powerful this French crowd could be during day 1, where Hugo Didier went on to win the gold medal in the 400 freestyle. And then, of course, there's Ihor Boki. Really nothing to be said there.
Yeah, simply the greatest Paralympian of them all. He is hoping to be, by the end of these games, the male Paralympian, that is, Trisha Zorn the Great, with 55 medals, 41 bronze in her stellar career. Well, there's Frige, the mascot, has made an appearance, and T-shirts, and hats, and mascots, and indeed, in person. Frige has been in the venue, and several people have been trying to take photographs with the mascot for these Paralympic Games. We begin this session, though, with the men's 100-meter freestyle S5 heats. There are 2 heats in this event. Antonio Fantin, world record holder. Daniel Diaz, the Paralympic record holder. One of the most successful Paralympians of all time is Daniel Diaz. The striking of the baton 3 times. A tradition in French theatre that signals the start of the drama. And indeed, there's plenty of drama to unfold over the next few hours of preliminary competition. This is the heats session. Start list for the men's 100 freestyle S5 first heat includes 2 Chinese swimmers, 2 Japanese swimmers, an athlete representing Greece, and 1 neutral Paralympic athlete. Kirill Ponvado will be among the favourites. There's Frige, the mascot, really enjoying himself. But my word, he's had to pose for a lot of photographs, not just with the children.
I know, I'm still trying to get my photograph with the mascot.
Well, the flags of so many nations that are waving proudly in this venue. Many from European countries, but also quite a few from countries in Africa, in South America, and indeed the Australian flag waving proudly as well. Australia have had great success already. The gold, the silver and 2 bronze for Australia among their successes on day 1 of competition. The athletes who make their way out for the very first of the heats in this preliminary session on day 2 of competition. The men's 100-meter freestyle S5. Last to make his way from the call room is 27-year-old Alexandros Stylianos Lerios of Greece. They'll be going in lane 7. There are 6 swimmers in this first heat. 6 swimmers to go in the second heat, including Francesco Bocciardo and Alexander Komarov. Will be among the favourites for the medals, but Kirill Pulver has been in good form. He's already picked up silver in the 200-meter free here. Silver medalist in this event at the 2024 European Championships. Watch out for Guo Jincheng as well. Reigning 50-meter freestyle world champion. He's so quick off the start. He uses his underwater so brilliantly. Yuan Weiyi, the 24-year-old who won silver in the 50 free in Tokyo. Hinata Kaede, 7th at the World Championships 2 years ago. So 6 competitors in both of the heats. The sole aim in the preliminary session is to qualify for the final. And to do that, you need to be among the 8 fastest across all the heats. Pool will start from in the pool. Two lanes of this pool in the men's 100-meter freestyle S5 as the heats are underway on day 2 of competition. Guo with a great underwater, so too Yuan, but Pulver will be looking to reel them in once he gets into his stroke. Guo has got a very strong kick, and it's a frantic pace that he's looking to set in the early stages of this race, but Pulver, once he gets into his stroke, is going to be very, very difficult to challenge.
Yeah, here they are. They're coming up to the first turn at the end of the 50. The Chinese swimmers, just watch this. They were out so far ahead, but then Pulver coming in, here's the turn, he does the open turn. He's now got to catch up again to the Chinese swimmers who do have the advantage, but watch him as he goes. He's just making up ground with every single stroke as they now are heading into that 75-meter mark. Well,
this is the thing for Guo and Yuan. They're both very much 50-meter specialists, and Pulver has got the endurance, he's got the ability to pull great deals of water. As he does so, 25 meters to go, he finds himself edging in front and just ahead of the 2 Chinese swimmers, Guo and Yuan. Either side of him, Kirill Pulver, the 21-year-old, silver in the 200 free here. Looks like he's going to go to the wall very comfortably and touch well outside the Paralympic record, but in a good time of 1:10.53. It's second for Guo, and Yuan touches third. Coming to the wall now, Tanaka touches 4th, ahead of Hinata, who's 5th, and Lerios of Greece, 6th. Strong back end from Pulver. But it's amazing how comfortably he settles into his rhythm in the early stages of a race.
Yeah, and remember, for the men in this S5 classification, the last event of the day 1 was the 200 free. Now they're the first event of session 2. Here are the Chinese swimmers. Look how far behind Pulver is. They're heading into the first 50-meter mark. He's way behind there. They're turning. They have the advantage off the wall. Pulver's going to do the open kick. Now it's as if the tide has turned. Pulver is way out of front. He beats the Chinese swimmers by over 4 seconds. 1:10.53. This is the winning time for Heat 1.
Pulver will take that. That's the kind of time that'll see him into the final. We do have a disqualification. It looks like Yuan Weiyi has been disqualified, having touched third. So confirming the results, it is Pulver ahead of Guo, Tanaka and Hinata, the 2 Japanese swimmers. 3rd and 4th, Lerios 5th. You'll be watching the clock, but Yuan Weiyi disqualified. Second heat in the men's 100-meter freestyle S5 features a handful of competitors who will genuinely be challenging for a gold medal in this event, including Alexander Komarov and Francesco Bocciardo. Also features Puchit Anchayapom of Thailand, who turns 23 tomorrow on day 3 of competition. He goes in lane 7. Kafli of Malaysia. Huerta of Spain in 2, and in 3 is Wang Nichao, Tokyo silver medalist. The gold medalist from Tokyo, though, is Francesco Bucciardo. He goes in lane 5. Didn't get off to the best of starts, but a grand start from Wang Lichao, 6-time Paralympic Games medalist, a man who took 3rd at the World Championships last year, but is the Asian Games champion. His first 50 is going to be hot and very difficult for the other swimmers to match. But it's the second 50 where he's likely to be reeled in by the likes of Komarov and Bucciardo.
And you called it. They are catching up right now. Bucciardo, he's currently sitting in 3rd. The Ukrainian, here's the turn. Bucciardo does the flip turn. Now the Chinese swimmer is going to have the advantage off the wall. He does that dolphin kick underwater. But here comes Komarov and Bucciardo. Bucciardo really better at the 200 than the 100, but he does seem to be making up a lot of ground right now.
A man who claimed 200-meter freestyle gold here already, looking to defend his 100-meter title as well. Multiple world champion from Genoa, and he finds himself in a bit of a battle against Komarov, who's not relinquishing anything. He won bronze in Rio, did Komarov, and he's going to come to the wall ahead of the Italian. The Tokyo silver medalist Wang touches 3rd. 4th was Zulkifli of Malaysia, Huerta 5th. And Anchayapom of Thailand touches 6th. Good swim from Komarov. So a slightly slower heat. A good competition between Komarov and Bucciardo. How much was Bucciardo holding back?
And here, in comparison to Heat 1, more of these swimmers are starting in the water. But again, you see the Chinese swimmers out to that very early lead. Bucciardo, about 4th position. Now he's moved up to 3rd. They're heading into the wall. The Chinese swimmer has the advantage. He does the dolphin kick. Pulver does the open water turn. Bucciardo does the flip turn. Now you see Bucciardo starting to try and make up more ground. Again, as we noted, he is better in the longer distance, the 200. And Komarov is able to pull away. He comes in with 1:11.26. That's not faster than the Pulver time from Heat 1, 1:10, but definitely fast enough to advance the finals.
There's the thumbs up. Got the job done. And Bucciardo congratulates Komarov. Big competition between these two. And how might that play out in the final? Confirming the results in the second heat of the 100 free S5, it's Komarov ahead of Bucciardo, ahead of Wang. Zulkifli with a 1:16.82. That will see him into the final. So too Huerta with a 1:18.98. Confirming the swimmers who advanced to the final. There are 2 from China. Pulver, Komarov, Bucciardo, Zulkifli, Huerta, and Tanaka of Japan also make it through to the last 8. This is the women's 100-meter freestyle S5 heat. There are 2 heats to come. Sally Kearney, the world record holder, 1:13.34 in the S5 classification. There are swimmers who are S4 classification swimmers. Tanya Scholz, the world record holder in the S4 classification, goes in this first heat. Monica Puccioni and Liu Yu are among the swimmers to watch, undoubtedly. Puccioni, the bronze medalist in Tokyo, but already a bronze medal here in the 200 free. 4-time Paralympic Games medalist, but reigning world and European champion is Monica Puccioni of Italy. Noriega of Argentina, from Cordoba, 5th at the World Championships a couple of years ago, bronze at the Pan American Games. China's Liu Yu, now 35. She won gold in the 200 free at the Asian Para Games in Hangzhou. And Sumaya Boyachi as well, the 21-year-old, known more for her backstroke. And somebody, though, who's a remarkable swimmer in so many ways. She did finish 6th at the European Championships, though well outside her best time. Puccioni, Scholz. Now, Butkova, Butcher, and Scholz in lanes 1, 2 and 3 are all S4 swimmers. Buggioni, Liu, Kupilova, Noriega and Boyachi are S5 swimmers, and they go in lanes 4 to 8. Bear in mind, the lower the number in terms of the classifications from 1 to 10, the greater the physical impairment for the swimmers. So the S4 swimmers are swimming a class up, which makes this a far greater challenge.
Take your marks.
So away in the women's 100-meter freestyle S5. It's a really good start from Gina Butcher of Germany, going in lane 2. But Buggioni, once she gets into a stroke, looks to be well set. Liu Yu is looking to match Buggioni. But Boyachi will go along very nicely over the opening 50. How she'll do in the back 50 is to be seen. But Buggioni in her stroke and looks to be dominant in the early stages already.
She does. I mean, she was the bronze medalist in Tokyo, then she was the silver medalist at the 2022 World Championships, the gold medalist in 2023. When she's up against Tully Kearney, that can be hard for her. Here she is. She looks very smooth. She is being challenged right now from Liu Yu, but we'll see what happens in that second half. Buggioni, we saw how strong she was in the 200, so you do know that she has closing speed.
We do. We also know that Tanja Schulz, who touched the third at the 50, has some great closing speed, and she's gone sub 120 already this season. And somebody who's a world record holder at 119, that's set a couple of years ago in Germany, in Berlin. But she is maintaining pace with Liu Yu. Buggioni is just ahead at the moment.
She is, and remember, she's an S4. So one thing I love when they combine the classifications like this is it broadens the range of disabilities that are competing in a single heat.
The scores certainly looking to push for a top 3 finish. She'll qualify for the final, but it's Buggioni who touches first ahead of Liu. Schulz of Germany touches third. Kupilova of Czechia. And to the wall, 5th ahead of Noriega and Boyachi. Butcher touches, and now Budkova. Well, that's a good time from Buggioni, a 1:23, leaving some in the tank, but still posting a decent enough time for a quality lane draw for the final. There's only arguably 2 or 3 swimmers in the second heat that could beat that time, and how many might be aiming to do so in the heats?
Yeah, you never... Exactly. So here, all of the swimmers, right, they get off to the start, some of them in the water, some of them diving from the blocks. You see such a range because it is that combined S4, S5 classification. Buggioni touches first at the 50, but only by a hair. You see all of these swimmers doing this open turn. Buggioni, by the time we get down to the last 10 meters of the race, is a body length ahead of everyone else. She comes in at 1:23.46. Very comfortably wins her heat. No problem for her advancing to the final. She's going to have a great matchup. She's going to be in one of those center lanes as she comes up right next to Tully Kearney for that final swim.
Great swim from Schulz as well, who touched third in 1:25.78. So she's set a new Paralympic record in the S4 classification. The reigning world record holder, and she'll expect to go significantly faster in the final. So that 1:25.78 for Schulz, who finished third, is a new Paralympic record in her classification S4. Liu Yu and Monica Buggioni finishing ahead of her. Kupilova touching 4th for Czechia. Second heat in the women's 100-meter freestyle S5 features 2 great British swimmers in Tully Kearney and Susanna Hext, who are the fastest in the world this year outside of Buggioni. Poida, though, is swimming well. So too is Lu Dong of People's Republic of China. There is an S4 swimmer in this race, in Brazil's Patricia Pereira dos Santos. She'll go in lane 7. But this is a race that features some big names. Susanna Hext, who was 4th in Tokyo, is a DNS. So Tully Kearney goes in lane 4. Poida will go in 3. Lu Dong in 6. Ostert goes in 8. Rodriguez of Brazil in 1. And Yao Chuan of China in 2.
Your marks.
Now, how will Kearney manage this race? She's already put in 2 big swims at this competition, and gold in the 200-meter freestyle S5 already on day 1 of competition. Lu Dong is going nicely. She was 6th in Tokyo, 5th at the World Championships last year. But putting in a really good burst of pace is the silver medalist in the 200 free, Irina Poida, who's swimming alongside Kearney over this opening 50.
And we saw Tully Kearney and Poida go head-to-head during the 200. Tully Kearney was able to come out victorious. And here, Poida just ahead of Tully Kearney at the wall. Tully Kearney does the flip turn, Poida does the open turn. Now, Tully back in the lead during that second 50. Let's see if she can extend or if Poida has something else in the tank.
You don't want to push and exert yourself too much in the heat, certainly not after racing 2 intense races on day 1 of competition when you're only into day 2 of competition. But Tully Kearney is half a body length in front and looking to extend that lead through 25 meters. She pulls now into a body length in front as she finds herself easing towards the wall. The battle for third is an intriguing one between Yao and Lu from People's Republic of China, but Irina Poida is going to finish second behind Tully Kearney of Great Britain, who touches first in a 1:17.75. So very comfortable ahead of Poida. Just making their way to the wall, the 2 Chinese swimmers, Yao just ahead of Lu Dong. Looks like Stephanie Rodriguez of Brazil will touch 5th, just ahead of Pereira, the S4 swimmer, and Sevile Öztürk of Turkey touches 7th. Tully Kearney, world record holder at 1:13. It has already gone 1:15 this year. But a fairly comfortable race.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it was a lot faster than Heat 1. Here they come into the first 50. Poida just ahead of Tully Kearney. But look how strong Tully Kearney's flip turn is. She does a flip turn. She doesn't really push off, but what she does is extend her body. And that gives her the momentum to come into that second 50. She comes in over a body length of Poida, who did challenge her in the 200 free, which was the last event of the night. You know Tully Kearney's a little bit tired, but she is not showing anything. She comes in with a 1:17.75, over 2 seconds ahead of Poida, who was second there.
Well, that's just fantastic from Tully Kearney, and indeed for Poida as well, because she's just been drastically improving her times in recent years. And now she's looking to be not only competitive, but on the podium again in an event at the Paralympic Games. Confirming the results, Tully Kearney ahead of Irina Poida, Yao Chuan and Lu Dong finishing 3rd and 4th. And they'll get into the final. DNS for Hext of Great Britain. Confirming who advances, 3 Chinese swimmers in the final, along with Kupilova of Czechia, Scholz of Germany, Boggioni of Italy, Poida and Kearney, the 2 fastest qualifiers, but that's going to be some battle. And Tanya Scholz, watch out for an S4 record, perhaps, from her. Onto the heats of the men's 100-meter freestyle S4. There are 2 heats to come. World record held by Israel's Ami Umar Dadon, a 1:18.94. He'll go in the second heat. There's a massive cheer because Francis David Smetanin makes his way out, the 49-year-old. He turns 50 in October. He was a gold medalist in Beijing, bronze medalist in London, 2010 world champion, 5th at the European Championships. Still going strong and still swimming in the 120s for this distance. Can he somehow make the final at his home Paralympic Games? He goes in 2. Federico Cristiani of Italy goes in 3. Cameron Leslie of New Zealand, the world champion 2 years ago, goes in lane 4. The Tokyo gold medalist Suzuki Takayuki goes in lane 5. Sebastian Masabi of Canada goes in lane 6. And 24-year-old Ariel Malya, twin brother of Mark Malya, goes in lane 7. Mark Malya, the double Paralympic Games gold medalist. Ariel looking to keep pace with his brother. Cameron Leslie, watch out for Cameron Leslie, though. The New Zealander, 3-time Paralympic Games gold medalist, all in the 150 IM, though. And he is world champion in this event back in 2022. Somebody who was selected to go to the Paralympic Games in Tokyo in both wheelchair rugby and para swimming, but decided to opt out because his wife was due to give birth. Now finds himself competing in Paris. He goes in 4 alongside Tokyo gold medalist Suzuki. Now, Cameron Leslie has gone 122 this year, same time as Suzuki. How will they match up against one another? 4th at the 2024 European Championships for 19-year-old Sebastian Masabi, who's showing some good pace in the early stages of this race. But watch out for the back ends of both Leslie and Suzuki. How will they challenge? Gold in the 50 breaststroke, SB3 here already for Suzuki. The Asian Para Games gold medalist in this event in 122, but it's Cameron Leslie who looks to be leading the way only just as they edge up towards the 50.
These 3 swimmers are in a deadlock. You're right, Cameron Leslie has a slight edge, but Suzuki has been on fire so far. I know there's only been 1 day, but he was very quick during day 1, so you know he's on point, he's swimming his times. Cameron Leslie, he is now extending a little bit more coming into the second half as they approach the 75-meter mark.
Watch out for Suzuki's closing speed.
Right.
And watch out for Cristiani's closing speed, the Italian who's a Paralympic debut, but he was a silver medalist at the European Championships where he closed really quickly, and he'll be looking to push for a top 3 finish. It's Suzuki now. Suzuki in the last 15 meters showing that closing speed as he edges past Cameron Leslie and towards the wall. Masabi finds himself pushing as well. He might finish second ahead of Leslie, but Suzuki is going to come to the wall comfortably in 122.80. That's quick for a heat. Masabi touches second ahead of Leslie. Cristiani 4th. Smetani comes to the wall in 130.36. Outside the times he's been swimming, but good enough for 5th. Maybe just a place in the final. Maglio touches now 6th. What a swim from Suzuki. We know he's got quick closing speed, but supposed to 122 in the heats is quite some time.
Yeah, he actually went faster than his seat time, which for many of these swimmers is uncommon during the preliminary session. You see Suzuki, he doesn't get the fastest start, he doesn't get the deepest start. Right now, he's sitting in 3rd in that first 50. Cameron Leslie did have the advantage. He wasn't first going in. He's definitely in first coming into the first turn. But Suzuki, wow, he really turned it on during that second half to go 122.80. Here he is at 75 meters, just blowing past everyone else. Cameron Leslie on his right, Sebastian Masabi on his left. He comes in with a 122.80. Very quick for a preliminary time in the S4 classification.
How about that swim from 19-year-old Masabi of Canada, coached by Jai Lawrence at Pacific Seawall Swim Club in Surrey, British Columbia. He's got himself a 2nd place in the 100 freestyle S4 heat behind Suzuki Takayuki. And Cameron Leslie 3rd. Cristiani again closed quickly, 125.11. That might be enough to get him into the final.
You know, and I don't know if you heard this, but the crowd, even though they love the French swimmers, they love Suzuki. They're really cheering for him.
Another French swimmer goes in the 2nd heat in Dimitri Ganjou. It's Gustavo Sanchez who goes for Mexico. It's one of 2 Mexicans. Angel Camacho goes in lane 5. But watch out for Luigi Beggiato, who goes for Italy in lane 3. And the world record holder, reigning world champion in 4 events, including this one, is Amil Murdadon. He goes in lane 4. Roman Zhdanov, the bronze medalist in Tokyo, goes in lane 6. Beggiato, though, was silver medalist in Tokyo. This is Angel Camacho, you saw for just a brief moment. 4th at the World Championships last year after bronze in 2022. But Angel Camacho had a superb Pan American Games, and if you can swim those sort of times, is in with a chance of the medals. Camacho gets off to a good start, but watch Dadaon into his stroke very quickly is Dadaon, and he's looking to lead the way. Camacho is alongside him, looking to match him stroke for stroke. At the moment, 3rd is Beggiato, just ahead of Grandjou, who looks to be inspired. The 18-year-old in his first of 5 events here for France, going in lane 1. And at the moment, it's a battle between Camacho and Dadaon.
Wow, look at them going that first 50. They're really dead even heading into the first wall during heat 2 of the 100-meter freestyle. Dadaon, he dives a little bit on the turn, comes in, does that remarkable push-off. Look how far he got in comparison on this turn. He is now well ahead of everyone else after that wall.
effectively even at the wall between Camacho and Dadon, but at the turn, Dadon able to really get something off the wall and push the pace as well into his rhythm really quickly. 25 meters to go. He's well in front of Camacho now, and Beggiato is in third, only just behind Camacho. Ranjou's just holding on to fourth. Zhdanov coming back at him, but it'll be Dadon pushing to the wall, who will take this second heat, and in a decent time, a Paralympic record time, 1:19:33, as Camacho touches second and Beggiato touches third. But a Paralympic record for Dadon, a 1:19:33. That's not too far off his own world record. Less than half a second shy of his world record.
Do you think he'll touch it tonight during finals?
I think it's certainly on.
I think he wants to challenge it, yeah.
Oh, yes.
And here's the start. You can see for the three swimmers that are in the water, either someone is holding them in place to make sure they don't start. And this is because they either they can't grip, or because, again, they're moving too much during the start, and so someone needs to hold them in place to make sure that they don't start swimming before the race actually starts. And look at that turn by Dadon. That is where he gets ahead of everyone else. He's coming out. He's now well ahead, more than probably 2, almost 3 body lengths ahead of the second and third swimmers. What's interesting about the way he swims is it's not a very smooth stroke. He does thrash around a little bit, but his arms are so strong. 1:19:33 for the Paralympic record. An amazing swim for this preliminary session.
Oh, there we go. Dadon. Is he going to be number one come the final? Dadon qualifies quickest from the heats, ahead of Camacho and Beggiato. Zhdanov, 1:26:42. He'll make his way into the final. Ranjou, however, is not going to make it with his 1:29. Confirming the 8 finalists. Cameron Leslie is in. There's 2 Italians in Beggiato and Cristiano. Zhdanov just sneaks in. Masabi, maybe for an upset there. Well, this might be a largely partisan French crowd, but they have been so supportive of every swimmer in the pool. This is the men's 200-meter individual medley SM6 heats. There are 3 heats to come. The world record in the SM6 qualification is held by Yang Hong. Nelson Crispin has the Paralympic record. In the S5 classification, Guo Jincheng has the world record and Daniel Diaz the Paralympic record. There are some S5 swimmers who go to in this heat, including Dmitry Cherniev and Guo Jincheng, the world champion in the SM5. He'll go in lane 5. But watch out as well for Raul Gutierrez, one of the 3 Gutierrez brothers, who will all be swimming in this 200 IM medley heats and all be looking for a place in the final. They have, in previous competitions, the Paris Swimming Series, finished 1, 2 and 3 in competition, and on multiple occasions have been at least 2 brothers on the podium. But Raul, at 24, is the oldest of them. This is Guo Jincheng. He goes in lane 5, one of the SM5 swimmers. Alongside him is Taliesin Glock. There's Cherniev. He'll go in lane 2. The SM5 swimmer as well. Colombia's David Rendon going in lane 6, but Taliesin Glock going in 4. That's Rendon. Taliesin Glock, not his strongest event, but he was silver medalist at the Pan American Games and a really good time. He took bronze in Rio, had an awful swim in Tokyo, finished 6th. But he's been swimming times that are close to his best and might just be on for something if he comes good. This is his first event at Paris 2024, and we'll get an indication of what sort of form he's in, no doubt, in this race. Glock goes in 4. Traditionally, a good starter is Raul Gutierrez, and he gets off to a really good start, but the underwater from Guo is always so very impressive. Into his stroke really early is Taliesin Glock as he breaks water. And he'll be looking to challenge Guo, who is likely to tire in the closing 50 in the men's 200 IM.
And this is the IM, it's the SM6 and SM5 classification. So for the classes, you have S1 through S10 for freestyle, backstroke, and butterfly. For M, you have SM for medley, and then there's B for breaststroke. What's great about the medley is that it's all 4 strokes: fly, back, breast, and free. Right now, the swimmers have moved into backstroke. The Chinese swimmer is still comfortably ahead, but here comes Taliesin Glock. You see him using his arm to move him through the water. The Chinese swimmer, as you mentioned, is likely going to tire now, if not in the breaststroke. Breaststroke is more of a leg-heavy stroke, but Taliesin, he has the use of that arm, and that is going to help him tremendously.
Taliesin Glock is looking to put down another impressive display on the Paralympic Games. The 29-year-old from Brazil, who was 400 freestyle champion in Tokyo last time out, 5-time Paralympic Games medalist. Coming to the wall at 100, good touches as they go into the breaststroke leg now. And this is where Taliesin Glock might be looking to make his move and then close out the result in the freestyle. Gutierrez is comfortably in third at the moment, but it's Guo Jincheng who's still leading. And reminder that he's an SM5 swimmer, so he is swimming a class up. And he might be challenging Daniel Diaz's 2:52.60 Paralympic Games record set all the way back in Beijing in 2008.
Now we talked about the breaststroke. The Chinese swimmer Jincheng Guo ahead of Taliesin Glock. And here, Guo is relying entirely on his legs in comparison to Glock, who just has the use of this one arm and the leg, which is creating an imbalance in the breaststroke. It is so hard to stay balanced. Imagine how difficult that is, and Glock is doing an amazing job. As they come into the freestyle, he will be faster in the free, and now he has to try and run down Jincheng Guo.
Good turn from Glock, good turn as well from Gutierrez, but Guo is leading the way. How long can he hold on though? Because Glock is very quick over the freestyle and he's already making up significant ground on Guo. 25 meters, he's virtually level with him. Gutierrez is looking to go with Glock as well at a similar speed, but it's Glock who's coming home and will overhaul Guo in the final 50 meters as expected. Taliesin Glock with a very comfortable freestyle leg finds himself touching the wall now in 2:44.17 ahead of Guo. 2:48.56. It is a new Paralympic record for Guo, and Gutierrez touches third for Mexico. So 2:48.56. That's a wonderful swim from Guo Jincheng. Fourth Rendon, fifth Cherniev, but Glock, confident swim. Oh, there we go, Paralympic record for that man.
Here they are coming off the block. You see Glock is behind Jincheng Guo. Guo clearly out ahead in the butterfly. Such a strong kick. As he comes in, he hits the touch pad with his head to make sure that he touches, he turns onto his back, he does that powerful kick. Glock way behind here. Here he is. He does a little bit of an underwater kick with that leg. Now we get into the breaststroke. Here's the imbalance. This is amazing, this stroke, how powerfully he moves. And then he gets into the freestyle and he goes way past the Chinese swimmer. Look at him. He's actually breathing to his right. He can't even see Guo on his left. And Guo finishes. Remember, Guo did get a Paralympic record. That was a very fast swim for him, too.
Certainly a very fast swim. A 2:48, considering that his own world record is a 2:46. That's a cracking swim from Guo Jincheng, but a wonderful finish from a man who is regarded as one of the finest freestylers in his class, Taliesin Glock. Oh, now we have a little delay because it looks like Taliesin Glock has been disqualified. I expect an appeal to come in. Glock has been disqualified. Guo takes it then, ahead of Raul Gutierrez and Rendon, Cherniev fourth. But a Paralympic record then for Guo. Second heat of the men's 200 IM SM6 features Nelson Crispin, the Paralympic record holder and Tokyo gold medalist, the 32-year-old reigning world champion. Pan American Games champion at Santiago as well. So this is the second heat that features Bouncer Ivan, Wang Jingang, Nelson Crispin, Bruce D, Morgan Ray, and Akarin Noitat of Thailand. For Walt, Bruce D has been swimming some really good times. He's gone 2:45 this season, silver medalist at the European Championships earlier this year, the 17-year-old and very, very fast improving swimmer. Nelson Crispin has got to be considered the favorite here, the gold medalist in Tokyo, somebody who's also been swimming really good times, well below 2:40s. And he might be challenged in the early stages by the likes of Wang Jingang, but once he gets across his strokes, out in butterfly, then into backstroke, then breaststroke, finishing with the front crawl. You add them all together, Crispin, who touches first at the 50, is in front, and he should be in front come the end of the 200.
Yeah, and he is. He does not have the advantage off the wall. You see, he went in touching first in the fly, then a little bit in second on the backstroke. Now he's going to make up some more ground as we get more into breaststroke. Really is where he starts to shine against, you know, the Chinese swimmer. But, you know, when we talk about dominance, Crispin was the gold medalist in Tokyo, the gold medalist in 2022, the gold medalist in 2023. You have to admit, he is the favorite here, and he is so fun to watch in every single stroke. He just attacks every single different stroke of this IM.
So it is going to be Crispin who turns first, but it's again Wang who's getting a little more off the wall. D is currently in third, Bruce D. Morgan Ray finds himself a little further back at the moment. At the moment, it's Noitat of Thailand who finds himself fourth.
And here comes Crispin in the breaststroke, which we just talked about. You see, he's able to really get himself up and out of the water. He's right on top. The Chinese swimmer is only using his legs, just a very small, he does not have the advantage here. It's all about Crispin. He's asserting himself. He's gliding his way through the water. He's really feeling going deep on every single stroke, and he is attacking this wall as they head into the final stretch. It's going to be freestyle. Also, here comes the great British swimmer in that red cap, now sitting comfortably in second. The Chinese swimmer has dropped to third.
Well, this is a fairly dominant display as he comes into the freestyle here. 25 odd meters to go. Bruce D has got himself into second nicely. Needless to say, Wang Jingang still holding on to third. They're well ahead of any other swimmers here in the pool. Well, this is a good swim. It's a healthy swim for Crispin. It's a good way to get yourself into your Paralympic campaign. And he glides very comfortably to the wall. 2:42.23. Bruce D touches at 2:44, so he keeps up that impressive run of swimming around 2:45 at 2:44.28 for Bruce D. Wang Jingang touches in 2:48, fourth for Ivan of Hungary. Morgan Ray with a 2:58.66, and Noitat of Thailand comes to the wall now. He touches in 3:07.93, just outside his best.
You know, you called that a healthy swim, but he does seem to be breathing.
I've just noticed that myself.
Hard, yeah, I'm not sure that was so comfortable for him, but we'll see. He always has something special for our finals.
He does.
Here we are coming off the blocks. You see the Chinese swimmer, what a dive, what an underwater for him. But Crispin Corzo, here he's he's finishing up the fly, turning onto the back. You see, he touches first, but then in the turn, the Chinese swimmer, he uses the underwater to really, here he is, still underwater. Bruce D also an excellent underwater. The Chinese swimmer then comes up right next to him. He's a little bit ahead, and then Crispin Corzo comes into the backstroke. Here's the Chinese swimmer. He was out ahead. Now Crispin Corzo coming in. They turn onto the breaststroke. This is where Crispin is so strong. Look how high he gets on every single stroke. Here is again in the freestyle. And watch, the Chinese swimmer was second, but now he's dropped way back to third. And Bruce D, what a swim for the great British swimmer. That was an excellent time of 2:44.28 for him. So 2:42.23 for Crispin Corzo, who will win that second heat.
So Crispin ahead of D, ahead of Wang in the second heat. Third heat to come. Third heat featuring Chateau, Young, Sanchez and McRae. But the two other Gutierrez brothers, Juan Jose and Jesus. So all three of the Gutierrez brothers of Mexico in the heats. Juan Jose and Jesus going in lanes 3 and 5 respectively here. Yang Hong, though, is looking to go out really well. He was 4th in Tokyo. Really, really good backstroker and breaststroker. The Asian Para Games champion, though, but he's also, importantly, the world record holder, having smashed the world record at the Asian Para Games in Hangzhou that was swum last year. Juan Jose Gutierrez a little further back, but Jesus Gutierrez, the youngest of the three Gutierrez brothers at 17, a World Championship silver medalist, finds himself touching first at the 50.
Right, but here come the other swimmers. Gutierrez, he did touch first, but notice that coming out of the backstroke start, he is now dropped back to 3rd. And it's Yang that is well ahead in this backstroke. We talked about what a great backstroke he was. He's doing basically a fly kick on his back to propel himself throughout this leg.
Yeah, very powerful through the hips. And Yang Hong is driving his way towards the wall at the 100 mark. So out in butterfly, then into backstroke, then breaststroke to come, and then front crawl to finish. It's a testing event, undoubtedly. The lungs are burning by the time you get into the breaststroke leg.
Look at this underwater from Yang Hong. He went so deep on that. You know, if depending on the angle you're sitting, it almost looks like he's touching the bottom of the pool. He's not, of course. And then look at his legs. Look how powerful he is. He doesn't really have a pull, but everything is coming from his legs. And breaststroke is, of course, a leg-driven stroke. But he's using his upper body to help balance him. And that is what makes him so strong. And he, you know, for someone who is not able to pull, he's actually extending his lead here during this third 50.
He's got an incredible leg kick, does Yang Hong, and he used it so incredibly well in Hangzhou as he broke the world record. It was in the backstroke and the breaststroke legs where he really made up ground in terms of the world record splits, and again, great off the wall as he comes into the final 50. It is Gutierrez who touches, it's Jesus Gutierrez, I should say, who touches second. Third is Zach Shattuck going in lane 2.
Wow, and look at his, now, there's no one else really, even in the running. Yang, he's doing so well. He's on this freestyle leg. He is a very good freestyle. Everyone is just kind of, you know, the battle is on for second and third, but it is all Yang right now.
It really is all Yang Hong of People's Republic of China. He's going to be outside his world record, but it's going to be a very fast time. He comes to the wall in 2:40.91. And he'll have a great lane draw for the final. Jesus Gutierrez touches in 2:48. Shattuck just edging out Juan Jose Gutierrez. 5th for Sanchez. And to the wall now, McRae of Switzerland. Well, that was some swim. That backstroke leg, most notably, nobody within 6 seconds of him in the backstroke leg.
No, and he is so strong. Fly, definitely not his strongest stroke. And here, he had a great start, Yang, but he's not in the lead in the 50. Here they are coming into the first wall, definitely not in first. But watch how strong his backstroke turn is. He gets so far. And then it's the breaststroke. His legs were so strong here, and he uses his shoulders, he uses his upper body to balance him because he is driving fully from his legs. Then we get into the freestyle, and just look at him go. He's like 20 meters ahead of the person that's in second. So powerful. I bet he's going to challenge his world record tonight. That would be so great. I
have no doubt he's going to challenge that world record this evening because he eased off a little in the closing freestyle leg. He's somebody who's got some incredible closing speed in the free, but he can go quicker, and he'll look to prove that in the final, almost certainly. Yang Hong wins it ahead of Jesus Gutierrez. Zach Shattuck third. It's Juan Jose Gutierrez who's been disqualified. So 2 Gutierrez brothers advance to the final. Jesus and Raul, 3 Chinese swimmers. Yang will battle Nelson Crispin, the gold medalist from Tokyo, in the final. Bruce D looking to challenge. Zach Shattuck of USA is also in the final. The women's 200-meter individual medley SM6 heats. There are 2 heats. Maisie Summers-Newton is the world record holder, 2:55.07. She's also the Paralympic Games record holder, having set the mark of 2:56.68 in Tokyo on her way to winning gold. It's Ellie Marks, though, who is quickest in terms of seed time going into the first heat. Top of his shoot of Lithuania, Ju Marks, Grace Harvey, and Hong Chuk-young of Hong Kong, China will go in this first heat of 2. But this should be an intriguing race in terms of Ellie Marks and what she can lay down. She's already picked up silver in the 50-meter freestyle here. She looks to be in really good form.
Yes, she does, and we know how strong her freestyle is. But the IM, remember, it's about putting all 4 strokes together to put together a good 200.
That's Ng Chuk-young of Hong Kong, China. There's Ellie Marks, 4th in Tokyo. The 34-year-old is going along really well so far. 2 good, confident races, 1 heat and 1 final behind her already, on her way to silver in the freestyle. Xu Ji of China, the 19-year-old who was silver medalist at the Asian Para Games, goes alongside Marks in lane 3. Chateau of Lithuania going in lane 2. She made the final of the European Championships earlier this year. Swam a 3:51. Marks will be looking to go sub 3 minutes, certainly in the final, if not in the heats.
Take your marks.
Getting off to a blistering start is Ellie Marks, the World Championship silver medalist, bronze medalist last year, but the silver medalist in the 50 free here already. She's gone 2:59 this season. Grace Harvey swimming in lane 5, 6th in Tokyo, was silver medalist at the World Championships 2 years ago and is a very accomplished swimmer in this race. So starting with the butterfly, then backstroke, then breaststroke, and then front crawl to finish. And Ellie Marks is laying down a marker here in the butterfly.
She's laying down a marker indeed. Look, right now, she gets that tap coming into the wall. She also suffers from a visual impairment. The tapper lets her know when it's coming. But I love that butterfly leg. She was swimming 2. She wasn't breathing every stroke. Instead, she was going 2 strokes and then with a breath. And that's great. It helps her to prevent her from tightening up. Now she comes into the backstroke. She looks really comfortable. Great head position, good shoulder rotation, really keeping everything efficient and just gliding her way through the water.
Ellie Marks, 25 meters to go in the backstroke leg before hitting the breaststroke leg, and she's well clear of Zhu and Harvey, who find themselves 2nd and 3rd respectively, a little further back for Hong Kong, China. This is a good opening 100 meters from Marks, who went out in 37 and touches with a 45-second backstroke leg, now into breaststroke.
And it's interesting in the breaststroke because a lot of swimmers drop down a classification, particularly in the lower classes, because breaststroke is such a leg-heavy stroke. And so you can see right now, Mark, she's not breathing every stroke. And what that lets her do is to increase her stroke rate. It's harder because it causes the swimmer to tighten up more towards the end, especially as you get, into the end of the 50 or to the end of a 100. It makes going to the freestyle very hard as you go into such a long stride. But right now, Marks looks good. She's making up, she's not fading. She's keeping her position. As she gets into the freestyle, we know what a great freestyler she is.
This is a wonderful breaststroke leg from Grace Harvey, who's got herself well and truly clear of Zhu. Now Ng is also swimming a solid breaststroke leg, and she finds herself making up ground on Zhu and going beyond the Chinese swimmer. It'll be Harvey who touches 2nd, and then Ng of Hong Kong, China. That is a really strong swim from Ng. She swam 50 seconds over that leg. Ellie Marks did 56 in the breaststroke leg. So some breaststroke from Ng. But Ellie Marks into the front crawl. She's not going to be caught in the freestyle. 15 meters to go now for her. And she'll be comfortably at the wall in a time quick enough to qualify for the final. Not quite sub 3 minutes, but almost for Ellie Marks. Grace Harvey touches second, 3:05.50. And to the wall third, Chuk-young. After a brilliant breaststroke leg. Ellie Marks on the mark, certainly. Gabriel Chepavichuta of Lithuania making her way to the wall. Swam at 3:51 at the European Championships, swam at 3:51 here. The Lithuanian who touches fifth. Ellie Marks, victory in the women's 200 IM SM6 first heat.
Ellie Marks had such a great start, and we know she does because she's a great sprinter. Here she is on the butterfly. I mentioned earlier, she does not breathe every stroke. You're trained to do that in age group. Then she's into backstroke, a great backstroke. She keeps her head incredibly still. You could bounce a quarter off that. Breaststroke, probably her weakest stroke. Not probably, it is her weakest stroke of the IM. She gets tapped coming in, and then she moves back into the freestyle with a very strong finish. 3:00.26, has to be happy with that. It is going to be a race between her and Macy Summers-Newton during the final.
So Ellie Marks, Grace Harvey, and Chuk-young finishing top three. Chu Yi, 3:15.89. She'll be watching the clock in the second heat. Second heat, the women's 200 IM SM6. Saras Liu Summers-Newton, the world record holder. Schott of Germany and Jiang of China go. Verena Schott with bronze in Tokyo. She has been swimming for a number of years, the 35-year-old German. She was silver medalist in London in this event. But Macy Summers-Newton, gold medalist in Tokyo, the world record holder, 2:55.07. She set in Berlin. 2:56.88 was her winning time in Tokyo. Great start from Summers-Newton, the 22-year-old, three-time and reigning world champion and European champion as well. Great underwater, though, from Liu Daomin, and going very nicely in lane 6 is Jiang Yuyan, the 19-year-old, who won 50 free gold here in Paralympic record time. A five-time Paralympic Games medalist. You see somebody who knows how to claim victory, but this is not her strongest event, and she'll need to knock off quite some time of her best if she is to challenge for a podium place. Summers-Newton looking comfortable in second at the moment, Liu in third.
Right, and you can see what's great about the IM is the different advantages, and different swimmers really have different best strokes. We saw going out in the butterfly right there, Liu had the best fly, and Macy Summers-Newton has some ground to make up, but she will. And the difference between Macy Summers-Newton and the others is her stroke rate. Look how quick she's turning over with every single stroke in comparison to the others. But I will say, Liu Daomin is holding on for the lead right now. She still looks very good in backstroke.
Looking really good in the breaststroke leg, though. This is where she is going to be challenged. Summers-Newton, though, really good breaststroker. Liu Daomin currently third. She won the Asian Para Games ahead of Jiang. And this is where Summers-Newton should come into her own.
Yep.
And already starting to make moves. Jiang is losing ground here. Summers-Newton is already 15 meters into the breaststroke. Past the Chinese swimmer.
And here, Macy Summers-Newton again, she does not breathe every stroke. That allows what is already a very quick stroke to get even quicker. And she has now overtaken the lead. She's way out ahead right now. As you mentioned, the other swimmers have fallen back.
The only swimmer who's anywhere near Summers-Newton at the moment is Liu Daomin, the Asian Para Games champion. He's putting in a very fine breaststroke leg herself, but Summers-Newton is caning it down this third leg. to the wall. She touches first, well ahead of the Chinese swimmer Liu by nearly 5 seconds.
She is, and now comes Macy Summers-Newton in the freestyle. She's way out ahead. There's nobody even close. Liu Daomin is second. She looks great, but she's not going to catch Macy Summers-Newton.
Oh, lovely 49-second breaststroke leg for Summers-Newton that sets up what is surely victory in this second heat. And Summers-Newton well ahead of Liu Daomin. Now, what sort of time is Summers-Newton going to swim? It's going to be sub 3 minutes, but how quick is it going to be? Not quite record time, but a 2:58.40 is good enough for lane 4 in the final. Summers-Newton touches ahead of Liu Daomin. Chang Yuyan touches third, fourth for Verena Schott, and fifth, Saras of Hungary. And that is a confident swim from Summers-Newton.
You know she saw Ellie Marks during Heat 1, who saw her go 3:00.26. And Macy Summers-Newton said, I think I'm going to go faster that. And a lot of swimmers during the preliminary session, basically what they try and do is secure a spot for final. So they don't necessarily go all out, but they go, just fast enough to qualify. But Macy Summers-Newton didn't do that. She clearly turned on the engines. Here she is in the breaststroke, not breathing every stroke, but what she does have to do is make sure that her head breaks the surface every water. Otherwise, she'll get disqualified. And then here she is turning into the freestyle. An excellent freestyle stroke. So powerful. She's just attacking it. Goes right into the wall, 2:58.40. I think she's going to try and challenge the world record tonight.
Might very well be on. She swam some very fast splits, did Macy Summers-Newton. And she's got herself lane 4 for the final. Team Hector. We'll go in the men's 100 breaststroke SB9 in a moment. Hector Denayer. So there seems to be a little bit of a delay here in the official results for the 200 IM. Well, I can tell you why. It's because there have been 2 disqualifications in the race. Women's 200 meter individual medley SM6, the second heat sees 2 disqualifications, Saras and Zhang, which means that ultimately that means Tipovichuta with a 3:51 is into the final. Schott is into the final as well. But Summers-Newton and Marks, what a battle that we could see unfold in the final. This is the heats of the women's 400 meter freestyle S1-11. Anastasia Pagonis, the world record holder, 4:54.49. That's on her way to winning gold in Tokyo. Pagonis will go in the first heat of 2 alongside Shevchenko. Scarlett Humphrey, whose twin sister Eliza, will go in the second. Zhang Chaotong and Matilda Alcazar of Mexico will go in lane 6. Now Pagonis.
Look at her walk out.
Oh, yeah,
she is so excited to be here.
Now, is she going to be able to go sub 5 minutes again? It's been a while since she's done that, but she's certainly capable of doing that. And she knows how to manage her race, both in the heats and in the final. It'll be intriguing to see how she goes in this final. There's Scarlett Humphrey. Her twin sister Eliza will go in the second heat. Scarlett 4th and 5th at the last 2 World Championships. Pagonis, defending champion, Alcazar of Mexico. So the first heats. Of 2 in the women's 400-meter freestyle S11.
Take your marks.
8 lengths of the pool for the swimmers in this 400-meter freestyle S11. This is for swimmers with the most severe visual impairments. Now they all swim with blackened goggles, so they can see nothing in the pool. They sometimes drift towards a lane rope, which helps get them swimming down the lane a little more comfortably and confidently. Now the tappers at the end of the wall as well that tap the swimmers either on the head or the back to indicate that they are a little way out from the turn.
Exactly. This is the 400-meter freestyle, so it's 8 lengths of the pool, the longest event that is here for this classification and really any classification. The key to this event, particularly for the S11 swimmers, is that they need to be efficient. And what that means is they need to stay as in a straight line. Because if they zigzag throughout the pool, that can add on an additional 100 meters easily. And you know, the more you have to swim, the more time it's gonna take. What makes Pagonis so great is she is hugging the lane line, and that keeps her in a straight line. She's hugging it without actually going into the lane line and getting caught and tangled in it, which is key.
Pagonis looking very comfortable ahead of Zhang of China. Former 400-meter freestyle silver medalist at the World Championships. She's the Asian Para Games champion is Zhang. But Pagonis, who was world champion a couple of years ago and is the defending champion in this race, looks very settled. And you imagine she's going to be trying to clock splits of around 39. I say that, she's just gone 38 for that last 50.
She looks great right now, still hugging the lane line. And you can see how efficient she is in comparison to some of the other swimmers who are zigzagging. And as I mentioned before, that adds distance, which of course adds time. And one thing that makes Pagonis stand out in comparison to others is that she was actually a swimmer before she started to lose her vision. If you have that, what that does is it gives you a better feel for the water, and it lets you control your strokes now. When you were a swimmer before and you were a swimmer after, you know what the stroke is intended to look like, and that is what makes her so strong. Here she is coming, she hits the tapper. The tapper is what tells them to flip. In addition to getting tapped, a lot of these swimmers count their strokes because sometimes the tapper can be off. That can be hard though. If you're excited, it's a big meet, your stroke might quicken, you're over-rotating, who knows what could happen. So the tapper is there kind of as a backstop just in case you overcount, you undercount, your stroke count is off. You never know what can go wrong.
Pagonis from Long Island in New York, somebody who got into swimming when she was young, as you say, began losing her vision at the age of 12 due to a genetic retina disease and autoimmune retinopathy. And she is somebody who has continued to impress in the para swimming category S11. And she touches at the 250 mark. She's a good 5 seconds ahead of Zhang. Scarlett Humphrey at the moment still in third. A little slower over that last 50 for Scarlett Humphrey. That was a 42 after she's been swimming 40s. So slowing down a little bit. Pagonis showing no signs of slowing down here. Somebody who's used her social media platforms to educate so many people about Paralympic sport and indeed visual impairment as well.
And what she's doing, she's swimming this race very smart. The key to a 400, not only being efficient, but also staying controlled. You need to have very even splits. Now they're coming into the final 100, and Pagonis, I can't even say she's taking it easy or even, you know, kind of being on the back burner for the last 100. It looks to me like she is going for it. Is she, you know, she wants to have a dominant swim. She's going to want to be in that center lane for the final. She knows Brensma is in heat 2. She looks very well positioned. She's swimming strong, looks great.
Certainly a couple of challenges coming in heat 2 for Pagonis. This is the kind of swim that she would like to start her Paralympic Games on. It's a good way to get into your events. And for Pagonis, a little slower over that last 50 as she went 40.08 for that last 50.
Yeah, but now she's starting to kick. She's approaching the last 25 meters. And remember in Tokyo, Pagonis kind of came out of nowhere. You know, that was her first major international competition. She came in, she smashed the world record, went 4:54.49. Here she is again. This is her second Paralympic Games. She's now an experienced swimmer, knows what to expect for the finals, but still putting on a very good performance during the preliminaries.
A great show it is. Outside 5 minutes of 5:04.60 for Pagonis. To the wall now, Chateau, 25-year-old, the reigning Asian Para Games champion, touches second, but Pagonis with a very good 5:04.60. They'll get her loose and limber for the competition to come, and the final indeed this very day. So the heats in the earlier session and the finals in the later session on each day of competition at the Paralympic Games. Scarlett Humphrey touches third. Alcazar of Mexico fourth, and fifth is Shevchenko. But Pagonis 5:04.60 her winning time.
Pagonis really dominated this race from start to finish. Here she is coming into one of the walls. Such a very balanced, even stroke. She got the tap. She goes right into the flip turn. And remember, if the tap is off or if the stroke count is off, it can cause you to kind of fumble your turn, but she didn't. She hit it right in the nail on the head. And here, she also, this is a great strategy. She stays close to the lane line without actually going into the lane line. And if you get tangled in it, that can add a lot of time. That's the tap to come right in. She puts her heads down. She finished. Very respectable preliminary swim. Thumbs up for the morning. Happy with that. 5:04.60. Good position for finals.
You should know what kind of time she's swum without necessarily noting the time on the clock. So at 5:04. There's always a little delay in terms of getting the official classifications, the women's and men's S11 classifications, because after each race, the goggles need to be inspected to see that they are all blackened, completely blacked out. Pagonis takes the first heat ahead of Zhang. Humphrey touches third ahead of Alcazar. Second heat of the women's 400-meter freestyle S11, and very much the focus on Lisette Bruinsma of Netherlands. But she's not been the quickest this year, and somebody who hasn't swum this event at major international competitions since Tokyo, but has gone 4:51 this year, is Daria Lukyanenko. Will go in lane 4. NPA athletes. Tsai Wen, Tokyo bronze medalist, goes in 3. Platanova of Slovakia goes in 2. Watch out as well for Eliza Humphrey, who goes in 6, and Martina Rabolini of Italy, who goes in 7. But Lisette Bruinsma, what is she going to do? She's obviously noted Lukyanenko's times. It'll be interesting to see how she swims against Lukyanenko here, and it might be a precursor to what happens in a prospective final showdown with Anastasia Pagonis.
And when we went into that Tokyo final, Bruinsma was the overwhelming favorite. Pagonis came out of nowhere, completely dominated the event. I think Bruinsma was a little bit surprised. And I think now looking here in Paris, I think Bruinsma is going to want to try and take that gold medal back. She already went out first, very much ahead during that first 50. She looks very smooth, calm, and controlled. You see Bruinsma kind of feeling the water with every single stroke, being careful not to go too far into that lane line, but still hugging it.
Well, Brainsma, remember, came onto the scene as a virtually unknown 15-year-old who went on to win gold in Rio, much to the disbelief of many. She then subsequently dominated in this stroke for some time. She's the two-time and reigning world champion, the reigning European champion at the moment as well. But Tokyo silver medalist, as you say, beaten by the upstart in Pagonis, who was outstanding in Tokyo. Brainsma looks very comfortable at the moment. Lukyanenko's not letting her get too far away.
No, and what's difficult here is Brainsma, she does have a tendency to zigzag, and here she goes. She's going right into the lane line. That causes a lot of distance, extra time. That's not helpful for her. If she wants to beat someone like Pagonis, who's such a clear and efficient swimmer, Brainsma needs to make sure she hugs the lane line without getting caught in it and has to control the zigzag.
That's an excellent point, because Brainsma does lose a lot of distance on that. So maybe a little less efficient in the turns, but Brainsma is leading the way still from Lukyanenko, who's pushing in the water. And it's just making up a little bit of ground here. These swimmers will be swimming their own race, though. They'll settle into their own rhythm. They'll settle into their own race.
Yes, exactly. And the 400-meter freestyle, especially in this particular classification, S11, where they're all wearing black and goggles, they have to know how each one of them individually swims. And to do that, that relies on your training. Every day they get in, they do different variations. They're doing sprinting, they're doing distance swimming, and that's what prepares you for a race like this. That's exactly what Brainsma is doing. Every day in practice you get in, you do a set of 100s, you know what your pace is. Is it 120, is it 110, is it 130, and that's how you do this.
And that was a good indication of swimmers just zigzagging. It was Lukyanenko who just zigzagged a little towards the lane rope on her right. Still leading the way, Brainsma, two-time Paralympic Games medalist in this event. Coming up towards the wall at 2:50 now. That last 50 was 39 seconds. She's gone 39 again for this 50. Lukyanenko a little quicker over that last 50 as well.
And Brainsma, you know, she has the speed to match someone like Pagonis, but what it really comes down to is who can swim in a straighter line. And if Pagonis is swimming straighter than Brainsma, Brainsma is going to end up swimming a 500, whereas Pagonis is swimming a 400, and that can make the difference between gold and silver.
Brainsma does have tremendous speed. She's got wonderful endurance as well. Both are required in this race.
And I will say, Lukyanenko is hanging with Brainsma. Brainsma, I was expecting her to be way far out ahead. She's about a body length right now, and let's see what she does in this last 100. But Lukyanenko doing a great job with her this entire way through, and she is swimming relatively straight.
And unlike so many other classifications at the Paralympic Games, in the S11 classification with swimmers swimming with blackened goggles, they can't see their opponents relative to their position in the pool at any stage in the pool. So this is swimmers genuinely swimming their own race and looking to push when they feel they need to push. And Lukyanenko has swum significantly faster than Brainsma by nearly a second over that last 50 meters, means she's within a second of Brainsma. Both those start to zigzag. Lukyanenko getting the lane rope on the right and Brainsma the lane rope on the left.
Yes, and Brainsma probably has no idea that Lukyanenko is there. I will say one thing that could help them is just the crowd and the noise. She may know that there's a race on her hands just by listening to these Frenchmen. They're so loud.
Lukyanenko is showing some closing speed here. Brainsma not really upping the stroke, although she's upped her kick rate significantly. Lukyanenko it is, touches ahead of Brainsma in 5:06. So it will be Pagonis in the middle lane for the final. Alongside Lukyanenko, Brainsma, though, will be in lane 3 for the final. So we could have an intriguing battle developing between Brainsma, Pagonis and Lukyanenko come final time. Tsai Li-wen, the Tokyo bronze medalist, touches third. She was out-touched in the Asian Para Games by Zhang Xiaotong. Tsai Li-wen should be looking to perhaps get herself on the podium at the Paralympic Games. Eliza Humphrey comes to the wall now, the European bronze medalists, Platonova and Rabolini, make their way to the wall, 5th and 6th. So Lukyanenko takes the second heat in 5:06.06.
Brensma, such a quick start for a 400, and it's not the most important part of the race in a race that's so long like this, but it just goes to show you what a great swimmer she is. She comes up, she goes right into that stroke. Where Brensma had a tough time here, though, is swimming in a straight line. She's got such a powerful stroke, but you can see her constantly running into the lane, getting caught in it and zigzagging it, and that's where she lost a lot of ground. She gets the tapper, she comes into the turn, and here Lukyanenko is still behind her. Brensma had about a body length lead at one point, but in this last 100, and really the last 50, this is where Lukyanenko caught up, and she went right past Brensma to come in first with a 5:06. Still slower than Pagonis during that first heat, but good enough to win this heat 2 and advance to finals.
Lukyanenko closing with a 38-second 50-meter to get herself ahead of Brensma, and Tai Li Wen, Eliza Humphrey, 4th. What that means is that Eliza Humphrey, alongside her twin sister Scarlett, will swim in the final of the women's 400 free S11. 2 Chinese swimmers in Chang and Tsai, top 2 at the Asian Para Games. But the battle between Pagonis, Lukyanenko and Brensma is one that you do not want to miss. Heats of the men's 100-meter breaststroke SB9 to come. 2 heats. Poltavtsev, the world record holder, Pavel Poltavtsev, having claimed the title in London in 2012. The first start list featuring some big names, but there is one name that stands out for the home fans. Hector Denayer goes in lane 4. He's a 19-year-old with steadily improving times. He's gone 1:06 this year, and he'll be looking to go even quicker. Well, there's a few fans of Ellen Keane. And she will go a little later this session. The women's 100 breaststroke SB8. Watch out for Sina Zeghemina-Judd of Iran, who goes in lane 5. Francis Denayer, who goes in lane 4. Tang Shuyan in 3. Strasik of Czechia goes in 2. Sinestro of Argentina is in 1. Minciotti of Italy will go in 6th. The Pan American Games champion in Santiago was Lucas Lamente Mosella. He goes in 7. And Thomas Cordeiro of Portugal goes in 8. One of the great things about Mosella, there you saw him shot for just a moment. He proposed to his girlfriend, Ghislaine, after getting out of the pool in Santiago. She said yes.
Oh, good.
She said yes. There's Cordeiro, who will go 8th, but yeah, it was a magnificent moment in the arena at the magnificent aquatic center in Santiago, in Chile. There's Denayer. World Championships bronze medalist last year. He was silver medalist at the European Championships, swimming a 1:06. Minciotti, 4th at the World Championships. It's only gone 1:09 this year, but can go quicker. First of 2 heats, the men's 100-meter breaststroke SB9. 2 lengths of the pool. Straight into his stroke. Zeghemina-Judd of Iran looks really strong, but Denayer is looking to get just ahead, and Denayer, I think, is edging the Iranian at the moment. Minciotti is looking really strong as well for Italy, and Mosella's not being left behind.
Denayer looks great. He's out ahead, just barely out ahead, and this crowd is behind him. You know they're giving him just that little additional edge. Comes into the wall, very good good underwater pullout, goes deep, not too deep, comes up quickly and comes right into his stroke, still out ahead.
It was a great turn from the French swimmer Zerkhamina-Judd of Iran, the reigning Asian Para Games champion. The 22-year-old is starting to fade just a little. Tang Shuyan is coming back in his only event here. He's looking to qualify, and there's pressure from Menciotti as well of Italy. It's Mosella who's falling a little further back, but it's Denayer who's increasing his advantage over the field. Tang is going with him, but it is going to be the French hopeful who touches first ahead of Tang, with Menciotti out-touching Zerkhamina-Judd of Iran. Mosella touches fifth. Oh, he will take that.
He will definitely take that. And I don't know that folks can tell, but this, right now, La Défense is packed. It's sold out for prelims, I think. It's so filled. And look at this crowd supporting Denayer. I mean, he just went 1:08.05, a great preliminary swim, and there's still a final to come.
Oh, yes. Well, the French swimmers have certainly upped their game, and they've been on point so far in the para swimming competition.
And here's Denayer right behind the block, so excited. He had a great start, very quick, went right into that underwater pullout, got himself ahead very, very quickly into the race. Really never let anything get ahead of him. He's got that tight arm stroke, gets very high out of the water every single stroke. He helps to correct the imbalance. He relies on his legs to do that, comes into the wall again with a great underwater pullout, pops up, really never faltered. The crowd was behind him this entire way. He's got to be happy with that swim.
Hit the wall with some speed as well, Denayer. And he knows that he can go a good 2 seconds quicker as well. 1:08.05 from Denayer takes it ahead of Tang Shuyan, who had a good closing 50. Menciotti third ahead of Zerkhamina-Judd of Iran. Mosella will be watching the clock. Second heat of the men's 100-meter breaststroke SB9, featuring 8 competitors: Solberg, Lima de Souza, Vetekam, Raimondi, Isaev, Grigorev, Izadiar and Liu of Canada, the 17-year-old swimming sensation who's burst onto the scene in Canada. Here is the young Canadian who's so impressive at the Pan American Games on his international debut. But Stefano Raimondi, the Tokyo gold medalist, 7-time Paralympic Games medalist, that took his only gold in this event, 3-time reigning world champion. Going in 4 is Raimondi. Looks to get off to a good start, but he's up against Artem Isaev, who was silver medalist in Tokyo, and the much improved Grigorev, who was 4th in Tokyo. And Grigorev is off to a decent start, but it is Raimondi who's leading in the early stages of this 100 breaststroke.
And Raimondi, you know, he was out of the medals during the 50 freestyle already here in Paris. In Tokyo, you mentioned this was his only gold medal of the meet. In his classification, he typically had Kripak. Kripak has retired, but now, you know, there's other swimmers. He was out of the medals, and it has always been his event. He's such a clean breaststroke swimmer. He has such a wonderful glide, so efficient, gets very high out of the water. But right now, he is being challenged by swimmers on his left and on his right.
Well, Artem Isaev is on his left, and on his right is Maurice Vetekam, the 18-year-old, much improved German. He's been a silver medalist in the World Championship, the last 2 championships. Raimondi is now a little behind both Vetekam and Isaev, who've gone past him. Silver medalist Isaev looks to be leading the way, just ahead of Vetekam, with Raimondi coming third. Isaev is going to come to the wall first ahead of Vetekam. Raimondi only touches third. It's a 1:07.48. So that a good swim. Vetekam with a fine second, and he's celebrating. That's a PB for the German. Oh, he'll take that. 1:07.79. Raimondi, though, with a 1:08.64. That's well off his best. By nearly 2.5 seconds.
And here's the start. You have to wonder, did Raimondi save it up too much during this preliminary swim? Did he go easy intentionally? It's hard to tell. Here he is at the first 50. He does look to be pushing himself. He's first up at the wall, no question. But then on the way back, it was Isaev that had that remarkably strong finish. Both him and Wedekamp went right above Raimondi to go first and second, and both of them faster than the Frenchman from Heat 1, who went 1:08.
This is certainly a very open race. All indications are And it will be tight in the final. Artemiseyev, victory in the second heat. No official results out yet, which might mean that we're in for a disqualification. The crowds who've loved what they've got to witness so far at Paris La Défense Arena, waiting for the official results to come. Here they are, Artemiseyev ahead of Vetikam Raimondi. It is Fernando Liu of Canada who's been DQ'd. Grigoriev finishes fourth at a 1:10.02, which means he will make the final. Artemiseyev qualifies quickest ahead of Vetikam, a new PB for the German. Denayer will be eager to get going. Raimondi, fourth fastest tongue. Zeychaminejad of Iran sneaks into the final. The heats now with the women's 100-meter breaststroke SB9. There are 2 heats to come. Chantal Zederveld, the world record holder, 1:10.99. She's set on her way to winning gold in Tokyo. She'll go in the second heat. Crowd getting behind the DJ. Some good music that's happening at the pool, it seems. Summer Schmidt, Daniela Jimenez, Lisa Kricher, Kira Stevens and Elizaveta Sidorenko are the 5 swimmers who go in the first heat of the women's 100-meter breaststroke SB9. Kira Stevens, bronze medalist in Tokyo. But Lisa Kricher, who was gold medalist in Rio and silver medalist in Tokyo, goes in lane 4. Silver at the last World Championships after gold in 2022. The reigning European champion, who swam a 1:15. Will be looking to go quicker come final time, but will she just settle for a decent lane draw for the final in the heats? Summer Schmidt of USA goes in 2 as well, 1:25 this year. Sidorenko's gone 1:20. Jimenez broke the 1:20 mark at the Pan American Games. 32-year-old at her 5th Paralympic Games. She's made the final in every appearance since Beijing, has Jimenez.
Take your marks.
Jimenez off to a really good start. The 32-year-old Argentine, the reigning Pan American Games champion. 1:19.64 is what she was looking at the time. The 21-year-old Kira Stevens, though, bronze medalist from Tokyo, is getting off to a blistering start. Sidorenko's going strong on her outside, and Kricher is coming back at the Australian. And Kricher now looks to be in front.
Yeah, Krieger looks great. High, very powerful stroke. She went right past the Australian there, now approaching the 25-meter mark. She's almost a body length ahead at the end of the first 25 meters.
So Kricher touching nearly a second ahead of Stevens and Sidorenko, who are virtually side by side, separated by 1/100th of a second. A good turn from Stevens, sees her come out a little further ahead of Sidorenko, who's got a little bit of ground to make up now, but it is Kricher who's making up a little further ground on the swimmers around her, just extending her advantage. 25 meters to go. Jimenez looking to put herself into a position where she can post a time quick enough to take her into the final. She's lying 4th at the moment, but a little way back. Kira Stevens now with a burst. There might be a little too late come the heats, but maybe just an indication of what she can do ahead of the final. A little glide to the wall for Kricher, who touches ahead of Stevens. Sidorenko 3rd, and it will be Jimenez of Argentina 4th. But a fine win in 1:17.53 for Kricher. Well, gold in Rio, silver in Tokyo. She knows how to win. Kira Stevens, that was some finish. Just a little indication of what she can do.
And you know that they're both aware that they have Zederveld coming in heat 2. Here's the start. Kira Stevens had a great start. Krieger went out first. She was ahead coming into the first 25. Look at the stroke, so powerful. She gets so high above the water. Hands actually break the water during the recovery. She basically dives every single time. She comes into the turn. Kira Stevens, by this time, is well behind her. But watch this finish. Kira Stevens making up time every single stroke. I think if they had another maybe 10 meters, she might have actually run her down. But Krieger hung on for the win during Heat 1 of this preliminary session.
1:17.53 wins it for Krieger in the women's 100 breaststroke SB9 first heat. Kira Stevens second, Sidorenko third, Jimenez 1:21. She'll be watching the clock in the second heat. Zuzanna Boruszewska of Poland turned 19 on day 1 of competition. So yesterday she goes in 2, Lebrun in 3, Zederveld in 4, Zhang in 5 and Smith in 6th. So Smith of New Zealand, the 18-year-old, 6th and 7th at the last 2 World Championships. But the focus is very much on Chantal Zederveld, the Dutch swimmer who goes in lane 4. 6-time Paralympic Games medalist, but she's only swimming this event in Paris. She's come with one intention, and that is to win gold. She's the 3-time and reigning world champion, the European champion as well, and the defending champion as well as world record holder. This is her main event, and she wants to win gold. And she's comfortably ahead of Zhang Meng going to the wall at 50. Well, I say comfortable, but Zhang came back at her a little there.
Yeah. Comfortably ahead, not so much. Right now, Zhang is really making up some time, and I think Zederveld does not have this wrapped up. It is going to be a very strong race during this last 25 meters. They're basically stroke for stroke, with Zhang making up time, but Zederveld, who is such a strong finisher. And here she goes right into this last 25 meters of the race, about half a body length ahead, still ahead of everyone else. Zhang trying to make up ground.
Well, Zederveld does have great finishing speed, but Zhang looked imperious on her way to victory in Hangzhou at the Asian Para Games, and she's holding on to Zederveld, who will touch first, but only just ahead of Zhang, a 1:14.85. So that's a very solid time for Zhang to go 1:15.56. That's just about her best. That is a very good finish from Zhang. And Zederveld takes it in 1:14.85. And for the first 25 meters of the second 50, it didn't quite look it was going all her way.
No, and here's Zederveld. She has such a strong start. And here you can see Meng's at the bottom, Zederveld's right in the middle. She's right out ahead. Every stroke with her is so incredibly powerful. She went right out to the lead just from the start of the race, but Zhang is quick on her feet. It was the second 50, really the first 25 of the second 50, as you said, where Zhang starts to make her move, and she tried to hang with her, but Zederveld, nobody can match that type of closing speed. And just to give you a sense, she went 1:14, the fastest swimmer from the Heat 1, 1:17.53. She was a little short of 3 seconds faster than that earlier heat, so that second heat was a lot quicker.
Zederveld, in the end, a time well within herself, but she was pushed for parts of that race, undoubtedly. Confirming the result of the women's 100 breaststroke SB9 second heat, Chantal Zederveld takes it ahead of Zhang Meng and Tatiana Lebrun of Belgium with a 1:18.25. Gabriella Smith, a 1:20.40. That means the New Zealander is into the final. Jimenez sneaks in as well with a 1:21.79, but Zederveld, Zhang, Krieger, Stevens, Lebrun, Sidorenko. Wow, good final to come in the women's 100 breaststroke SB9. These are the heats now in the men's 100 backstroke S13. 2 heats to come. The great Ihar Boki is world record holder and Paralympic Games record holder, having set the world record on his way to victory in Tokyo. Going in the first heat, though, Hebmuller, Dusangrajayev, Pankov, Sotnikov, Portal, Klippert, and Aslanov. Now, significant here is that Sotnikov is the first swimmer to beat Boki in this event in effectively a dozen years. Sotnikov beating Boki at the European Championships earlier this year. Alex Portal on a bit of a high. He's been inspired by the French fans who've been getting behind him. The 22-year-old took 100 fly silver here already. So watch out for Portal. He's capable of going well below 60 seconds. But Sotnikov went 57.83 at the European Championships.
This crowd loves Alex Portal.
The swimmers plunge into the pool. And this is the backstroke. The S13 classification, a classification for swimmers with visual impairment. The least severe of the visual impairment classifications at the Paralympic Games. Getting away quickly here. Now watch out for Sergei Klippert as well. He might be well off his best times in recent years, but he's somebody who's won the S12 classification on previous occasions. At 2016, 28 and 2020 he was a silver medalist in S12. But Sotnikov is looking really strong, so too Alex Portal, and they are matching one another coming up to the wall at 50.
They are really dead even. Portal had an unbelievable start. That gave him a huge lead. But Sotnikov, catching right up there, now has a slight edge over Portal. Portal's got the help of this crowd behind him, but can't quite keep up with the other swimmer.
Well, this is not one of Alex Portal's regular events in major international competitions, although he is very good at it. And he'll look to go sub 60 seconds perhaps, but Sotnikov is going to take control of this race and touches at 58.32. Sub 60 seconds for Portal as well at 59.56, so a very fine swim. Pankov touches ahead of Klippert. Dusan Zajaev is fifth. We had a fine swim from Sotnikov. 58.32, that's a good time. Given that Borky only went 58.39 at the European Championships, so 58.32 in the heats is a good marker.
And here's the start. Look how deep Alex Portal gets underwater. Here, he was actually first when he popped up, and here comes Sotnikov coming into the first 25 meters. Beautiful turn, underwater kick from Sotnikov and Portal. Portal beautiful on his back, and then Sotnikov comes in. Here, a body length ahead of Portal, just keeps extending that lead, dives to the back and finishes very strong with a 58.32. I do think he's looking to challenge Boki tonight. What a great race to come.
We are set for a thriller. Confirming the results in the first heat of the men's 100 back S13. Sotnikov with a quick time, 58.32 ahead of Portal, sub 60 seconds. Pankov with a 103 and Klippert with a 103. The second heat of the men's 100-meter backstroke S13. Kovalionak, Henriks, Virchenko, Boki, Van Vanrooy, Alhambra and Saito of Japan, who goes in 7. Alexei Virchenko, 4th in Tokyo with a World Championships bronze medalist. There's Alhambra. He goes for Spain in lane 6. 5th in Tokyo was Van Vanrooy of Netherlands, the 21-year-old from Rotterdam, who was 3rd at the European Championships. But managed to win the World Championships last year. Watch out for him. But Boki goes in 4, gold medalist at the last 3 Paralympic Games. So the 30-year-old Boki, his start and his underwater are generally imperious. He's being matched though by Virchenko of Ukraine, the World Championship bronze medalist, and at the moment it looks to be Van Vanrooy is showing the exceptional speed in the pool. Now, this might not be Boki's best event, but he has still been the dominant swimmer of the last dozen years in this event.
But right now, Boki not heading into the wall first. Boki does historically have very good underwaters, and you can see him trying to get back into it, up and popping up first now, heading into that second 50.
The 100 fly champion here already, Igor Boki, 5-time world champion in this event, but beaten by Sotnikov at the European Championships, where he put together a 58.39. What sort of time is he going to be swimming here? Van Wanrooy is coming back at Boki, and Virchenko is settling for third at the moment. He's well ahead of Alhambra, but it is going to be Boki, 58.97 ahead of Van Wanrooy, and Virchenko third, Alhambra fourth, Henriks of South Africa fifth, sixth, Saito of Japan. So Boki takes it, but not all his own way, and Van Wanrooy certainly pushed him in the opening 50.
Now, Boki getting pushed is not really something that we're used to seeing, but he did get pushed here. He had a great start. Not first, though, heading into this first 50. Right here, Boki comfortably in third, but he had a great turn at the 25-meter mark. He stayed underwater in such a beautiful head position. Great stroke all the way through. And then he comes in first at the wall with a 58.97. But you'll notice that Sotnikov is actually heading into the final with a faster time than Boki.
So Boki takes it ahead of Van Wanrooy, Virchenko third, Alhambra fourth in a 102.56. Henriks out of his best time, a 103, but that should be good enough to get into the final. Confirming the 8 competitors who advance to the final, Sotnikov and Boki will be in the center lanes, Portal in the final from Van Wanrooy, Virchenko, all capable of winning the gold, never mind podium places, Alhambra as well. The heats now are the men's 100-meter breaststroke SB8. 2 heats to come. Ukraine's great Andrei Kailina, the world record holder in the SB8 classification. We do have one swimmer who is an SB7 swimmer. And SB7 swimmer Carlos Serrano of Colombia will go in lane 4. Now, he's not unfamiliar to swimming a class up, but he won gold in 2016 and in 2020 in the SB7 classification at the Paralympic Games. But he won the World Championship swimming a class up in SB8. He won the Pan American Games swimming a class up as well. He's up against the likes of Morlaki, the silver medalist from Rio. Vicente Almonacid, who goes in lane 5. There's Wilmer of New Zealand, Joshua Wilmer. Lee of China in 1, Hodge goes in 3 for Australia. Xu Haijiao, 7th in Rio, 6th in Tokyo. The 30-year-old goes for China in lane 6. But what will Carlos Serrano do? An SB7 swimmer, but he is an exceptional talent. That's Almonacid of Chile. 2022 world champion, silver medalist in 23 at the Pan American Games. Remarkably beaten in the final in what was his favorite event, but then went on to win the individual medley. But he's only swimming the breaststroke at Paris 2024. At the moment, very little to separate Hodge, Serrano, Almonacid and Xu. This is a very tight race through 25 meters. It's 2 lengths of the pool in the 100 breaststroke, but a very high tempo from many of these swimmers.
It is, and I love it when the swimmers are so packed together, especially when here, Serrano, as you noted before, is an SB7, so he's swimming up a class, but that's not stopping him. He's touched first at the wall coming in. He's not going to have the best underwater polo. Right there, you saw Hodge make up a lot of ground right there. Hodge is an exceptional individual medley swimmer. He also did well in the 400 freestyle, and we know he likes to swim the preliminaries fast, as we saw in the 400.
Hodge does like to go out hard. It's Wilmer of New Zealand who's making up a little bit of ground now, going in lane 2. Serrano is there just ahead of Almonacid and Hodge. Wilmer challenging Xu as well. It's really tight between a host of swimmers, including Morlaki, who's coming back nicely. It's going to be Serrano, though, who touches ahead of Hodge and Almonacid. But that was particularly close between the top 6. The top 6 swimmers separated by 88 hundredths of a second. Less than a second separating the top 6, but Serrano edges out the competitors.
And I think you forgot to mention, Serrano edges out the competitors as an SB7.
Yep.
That's what's amazing.
To do that. Well, he's done it at the World Championships. He's done it at the Pan American
he's done
Games.
it before.
Yeah.
And here's the start. What's amazing here, Serrano, you see how high he gets and such a clean stroke. But these swimmers, really, the top four, coming into the 25-meter mark, the four swimmers in the middle of the pool were all incredibly closely bunched together. Right here you can see Hodge right above him. All of them just all going stroke for stroke. Serrano gets his hands just a smidge ahead of Hodge right there. It's hard to tell who was even going to win. But Serrano comes out for the win, and he's just shy of the Paralympic record. I do think he's going to try and go for that tonight during finals.
So Carlos Serrano, 1:12.12, 0.05 of a second ahead of Hodge. Almonacid touches a little way further back. Xu Haiqiu only 0.06 of a second back of him, and only 0.07 of a second back of him is Wilmer. How tight that was. What that means, though, for the second heat is that these swimmers know they need to be quick. The 100-meter breaststroke SB8 second heat features Andrei Kalina, the world record holder, champion in Athens, in Beijing, in London, and in Tokyo. The 37-year-old is a 10-time Paralympic Games medalist, 5-time world champion, reigning European champion. And he's up against Smirnov, Yang Huanglong of China, silver at the Asian Para Games, goes in 6. It's a blistering start for virtually all the competitors. Robin Lixor of Estonia turns 25 next week from Tallinn, gets off to a really good start. Salguero alongside him of Spain. As Kalina, though, gets into his stroke and looks to be leading the way from Smirnov and Young at the moment. But it's a good push from Young.
You know, we just got over talking about how close the first heat was. This heat may actually be closer. Look at the swimmers, all of them so closely bunched together. Kalina certainly had the lead going in, but now, hard to say exactly what's going to happen here. He looks very good coming into the second 50. This is really his specialty. He knows how to swim this race, but right now he's going to have to come a little bit from behind.
So Kalina is being challenged by Salguero, most notably the 2017 world champion and the European Championship silver medalist earlier this year. Kalina is looking to finish strong, but Salguero, who won gold in Rio and silver in Tokyo behind Kalina, is pushing the 4-time champion, and to the wall comes Kalina ahead of Young, who finished strongest. Salguero is 3rd, Smirnov 4th, Lixor 5th, Young with a really good back end. But Kalina showing his strength. 10-time Paralympic Games medalist, and 5 of those medals have come in this event.
Here they all go in. These swimmers were very tightly packed during the first 50-meter. Kalina just ahead slightly. And you can see what he does is he helps to balance that impairment out with the other arm. Very hard to keep yourself so controlled during this first 25 meters, but he did a great job doing it. He comes into the second 50, and the second 50 is really where he took off. He went 1:10.61, which was a lot faster than that first heat. And here, he's so close. Young really snapping at his feet right there. Very fast second heat. He has to be happy with that. Thumbs up. He is.
Yeah, if there was any doubt. Still going strong at nearly 38. Plenty of Spanish fans in the crowd. There's some Belgium fans as well. There we go, Team Belgium. We've got a few solid swims already. So too the Spanish contingent. Confirming the results in the men's 100 breaststroke SB8 second heat. Kalina ahead of Young, ahead of Salguero of Spain. Smirnov 4th in a 1:12.56. Xu Haiqiu sneaks in with a 1:12.66. Kalina qualifies quickest. Serrano only qualifies 4th quickest. Will be among the favourites for the gold, despite being the SB7 swimmer. Young Salguero, Hodge as well in the mix. The heats now of the women's 100-metre breaststroke SB8, 2 heats to come. Brock Whiston, the world record holder, 1:13.83. Whiston will go in the second heat. Start list then for the first heat of 2. Features Shilova, Dimitriv and Roxen, as well as Marks. Novina of Croatia will go in lane 7. Chikina of NPA will go in 1, and Zhu Hui will go in lane 2 for China. Watch out for Katarina Roxen. There's Dimitriv, a 16-year-old world champion of the last 2 events, and there's Marcus, 5th in Tokyo in this event, but a great IMer. Multiple breaststroke wins over the years. 4th in this event, though, at the World Championships. Katarina Roxen becoming the first female para swimmer to swim at 5 Paralympic Games for Canada. There's Novina of Croatia. Roxen getting away a little behind Dimitriv of Spain. Roxen, who was gold medalist in Rio, wanting to show that she is still up to compete with the very best in 2024. She's going along very nicely alongside Dimitriv, the 16-year-old who's come to prominence in the last couple of years, the reigning European champion as well. Shilova is a little further back. I suppose you could argue she's more of a freestyle and fly sprinter, but did finish 3rd at the European Championships in this event and is pretty quick over this distance.
And here's Dimitriv coming in right into that wall first. Roxen hanging with her, doing well, but she's barely behind her right now, and Dimitriv starting to assert herself more during the second 50. She looks very calm and controlled, really relying on her legs to go through. She puts her head down, glides every single stroke, not really being challenged either on the left or the right.
Yeah, that's great leg power. The kick looks so wonderful, and we get such a good angle from the underwater cameras that we're able to see how good the kick is.
But the race is really on here for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Look how close they are bunched together. Roxen, who was really in 2nd, now getting challenged from the Spaniard.
Marcus alongside her, and Shilova going in lane 3 as well, are challenging Roxen. It might just be Marcus of Spain. It is in a 1-2. Dimitriv touches first, and it is going to be Marcus ahead of Roxen. Shilova 4th. Zhu touches 5th. Novina 6th for Croatia, and Chikina of NPA touches 7th. Quality swim from the Spanish swimmers. They touch 1 and 2.
And here's the start. Dimitriv comes out quickly, and she takes an early lead. Roxen really trying to hang with her and snapping at her heels, but Dimitriv gets so far out of the water every single stroke. Just look at how hard she propels going forward, comes into the first 50, attacks the wall. Roxen at that point is still securely in 2nd. Little fly kick coming in, and then Dimitriv with the finish right here times it perfectly to hit the wall to go 1:22. Very solid preliminary swim.
So Dimitriv takes it ahead of Marks. Roxen 3rd, Shilova 4th. The second heat to come. Second heat featuring, amongst others, Susna Kukundakwe, who was the youngest Paralympian in any sport at Tokyo 2020, the Ugandan, who goes in lane 1, the first Ugandan to qualify for para-swimming. Brock Whiston, though, who's the world record holder and goes in 4. Watch out for Ellen Keane, the Tokyo gold medalist and Rio bronze medalist, who goes in lane 5 as well. Silver at the World Championships and at the European Championships in the last editions. She goes in lane 5. At the moment, though, looking really strong is Utsugi, who's 6th in Tokyo, the 21-year-old from Japan. Silver at the Asian Para Games, is looking really strong. But Keane now comes into a stroke and is looking to power in front. And Fukuda wants to go with her.
Right now, you're right, Keane starting to really take the lead here next to Brock Whiston, who also looks very strong. She is a world record holder, so we should expect something special from her during the final tonight. But Keane, wow, little underwater kick, little fly kick, comes up first, starting to try and get away from this crowd a little bit. They were so closely packed together just a moment ago.
So Keane leading the way, Fukuda with a far higher tempo in this breaststroke. Keane a little more languid, the longer stroke, good kick, and Brock Whiston is coming back now at Ellen Keane. Just 15 meters to go to the wall, and Keane is leading the way, but Whiston is coming back, the 27-year-old 2019 world champion. Finished 4th in this final, though, at the World Championships. As they come to the wall virtually together, they are together. 1:24.59, dead heat between Keane and Whiston. Fukuda does touch 3rd. Kukundakwe of Uganda touches 7th. Brock Whiston and Ellen Keane, 1:24.59, same time. It's the first dead heat we've seen in a race at Paris 2024. Don't worry, we won't be having a swim-off. So Brock Whiston and Ellen Keane have won the second heat.
So Brock Whiston has the slowest start coming off. She's way behind, and here you see Ellen Keane. She was out early. Brock Whiston she basically spent the entire race trying to catch up to Ellen Keane, who had that earlier lead. But you can never count out a world record holder. Brock Whiston knows how to swim this race. Here they are at the 25-meter. Ellen Keane popping up first. Brock Whiston still way behind, has trouble on the walls, but now it's the closing speed. This is where she went for it, and she just caught Ellen Keane. They came in dead even at the wall. It's going to be a battle during the final tonight.
Confirming Whiston and Keane taking the second heat ahead of Fukuda and Utsugi. A disqualification for Camilla Haas of Costa Rica. And that means Dimitrov, Whiston, Keane, the top 3 for the final. Fukuda and Utsugi both in the final. Marx is there as well as second Spaniard in the final. Roxon and Shulova through as well. I spoke about no swim-off for the SB8 heats. We reached the final event in the morning session, the mixed 4x50 freestyle relay 20 points heats. China are world record holders. They'll go in the second heat. We are going to have a swim-off, though, in the men's 100 breaststroke SB9 after this event. Australia, Mexico, Brazil, Spain and United States of America go in the first heat of the mixed 4x50 freestyle relay 20 points. Now, what this means is that you need to have swimmers whose points classifications in the physical impairments match up to 20 points or less. So Australia, for example, have gone with 2 S3 swimmers and 2 S7 swimmers. Mexico have gone S3, S4, S7, S6. And you've got to have 2 male and 2 female swimmers.
Yep, exactly. So get your calculators out.
This is about calculators.
Get your protractors, get your Excel formulas out. It's basically going through your roster and trying to get the 4 athletes, 2 male, 2 female, whose sums total to 20. And what's so cool about this is that it's not just male versus female, it's class versus class racing, different impairments racing. So every single leg, you never know what's gonna happen. Someone could be 25 meters ahead after the first leg, and then they could be in dead last at the next leg, and you never know what's gonna happen.
So Australia, Mexico, Brazil, Spain, and United States of America go. The great Diego Lopez Diaz will go first for Mexico, an S3 swimmer. Oh. The ever-likable Samuel da Silva Oliveira, an S5 swimmer from Brazil, who was a multiple gold medal winner at the Paralympic Games, 7 gold medals in 7 events. That's a pretty good return. Abbas Karimi will go second for United States of America, having previously swum for the refugee team. He's lived and based himself in the United States for a number of years and is now a US citizen. Getting away then in the mixed 4x50 freestyle relay, 20 points. Grant Scooter Patterson in the pool for Australia, an S3 swimmer. Diego Lopez Diaz in the pool for Mexico, an S3 swimmer. S4 swimmer Patricia Pereira dos Santos goes for Brazil. Daniel Ferrer leads out Spain, the S3 swimmer. And Leanne Smith, the S3 swimmer, leads out United States of America. So nobody is really pulling away. Pereira of Brazil is leading the way in the early stages, but Leanne Smith is looking to go into second. This is a changeover at the 50. So they literally swim one leg of the pool. The changeover for Brazil at the wall. They lead by 0.61 from USA. As in the pool now is Lidia Vieira de Cruz. David Sanchez in the pool for Spain. Abbas Karimi in the pool for United States of America, and he looks to be powering his way in front and barely taking a breath. Abbas Karimi there eventually has a breath, but it's USA who are leading, Brazil second.
Yeah, but again, you have to watch out because you never know what is going to happen. Karimi from the United States looks great right now, powering. They overtook the lead from Brazil, who was comfortably in first place after the first 25 meters. But now into the water for the United States is Zach Shattuck. Let's see how he goes during this third leg of the race.
And Ellie Marks will close out for USA, which means 2 S6 swimmers that are closing out for Team USA. Into the pool for Brazil is Daniel Xavier Mendes, the S6 swimmer, as well, as they lie second, and certainly chewing up the water is Xavier, who's looking to give Brazil a little less of ground to make up in the pool. At the moment, Spain are third through Marta Fernandez, the S3 swimmer, who's in the pool, at Naomi Somellera in the pool for Mexico, Holly Warren in the pool for Australia. But USA are leading from Brazil. Ellie Marks is up against Samuel de Oliveira here. Ellie Marks is an S6 swimmer, Samuel de Oliveira an S5, but he is ridiculously quick. And as Ellie Marks got what it takes to match Da Silva Oliveira in the closing meters, it looks like she does. Ellie Marks is making a genuine race of this here. It's Ellie Marks against Samuel Da Silva de Oliveira, and Ellie Marks will get the tap, come to the wall just ahead of the Brazilian Da Silva de Oliveira, but a comfortable margin for both USA and Brazil over the next best swimmers. It's Mexico and Spain who are battling it out for third, as Raul Gutierrez swims last for Mexico and Nahia Sudar swims last for Spain. They come to the wall almost together, separated by 7/100ths of a second. It's Spain who touch third. Australia will close out the race fifth, 2:52.55. That was some swim.
That was some swim.
Wow, Ellie Marks.
Yeah, you're right. Oliveira is ridiculously fast. And remember, that's an S5 against an S6. Male against female Ellie Marks there. And she was able to just catch him right there at the end. What a swim. What's so great here is is that the lead changes almost every single step of the way. Brazil went out for the early lead ahead of Leanne Smith. That was the first 25. And then the changeovers here are so important, and you have to be so careful because some of the swimmers start out of the water, some of the swimmers start in the water, so you have to practice those changeovers to make sure that you're not hitting anyone. And here's the remarkable finish from Ellie Marks, just ahead of Oliveira from Brazil. What a preliminary swim. We don't usually see races like this so much during the prelim sessions. And going into tonight, they do have a battle. It'll be interesting to see also if they change their lineup at all. Sometimes you change the swimmers from morning to night.
What is interesting about these Paralympic Games is that all the medalists, whether you have 8 swimmers who swim across the heats and the finals, or indeed 4 swimmers who swim across the heats and the finals, every competitor who swims in a heat or a final will be presented with a gold, a silver, or a bronze medal come the medal ceremony, the victory ceremony in the evening session. Brazil not too far away from claiming top spot in that heat. 1100ths of a second separating USA and Brazil. Just waiting for the official results. Sometimes there are disqualifications. Usually is trouble with the changeovers. So maybe a disqualification in prospect as we await the official results. As things stand, unofficial results, USA ahead of Brazil, ahead of Spain, ahead of Mexico, with Australia 5th. But the results are under review, so they are not official as yet. Wonderful pool, and has hosted so many grand events already, and will host a total of 141 medal events over the 10 days of competition. We're only into day 2, and we've seen a host of world records already, a number of Paralympic records, and some of the biggest stars of all time of para swimming in the pool already.
You know, that's right. There was a lot of, discussion during the Olympics. Is the pool fast? Why aren't a lot of world records being broken? That doesn't seem to be a problem for the Paralympics right now. The pool is very fast. There's a lot of world records being broken, PBs all over the place.
So we still await the official results of the mixed 4x50 freestyle relay, 20 points first heat. As things stand, just a reminder as well, it's Italy who lead the way in the medal standings through day 1 of competition. They've got 8 medals from 15 events, including 2 golds. Great Britain, China also having golds. Australia, Brazil, Denmark, Hungary, Japan, Poland as well with golds. So too Singapore and the host nation France. They have a single gold. 8 other countries on the medal podium through the first day of the para swimming at Paris 2024. So we have official results now. USA ahead of Brazil, ahead of Spain, Mexico 4th, and Australia 5th. We'll be watching the times in the second heat. The second heat features Canada, Italy, China, Ukraine, and Greece. Now, China have been the dominant country in this event, and indeed they have gone for their traditional lineup of 4 S5 swimmers. They have some very strong sprinters in their lineup to China. Wang Liqiao will lead off. Wang Liqiao gets off for China from the blocks. He's an S5 swimmer. So they're going to start male-male and then female-female to finish. Vincenzo Boni in the pool for Italy going in 3. Ali van Wyk-Smart goes for Canada in 2. Denis Ostapchenko goes for Ukraine in 5, the S3 swimmer, and Alexandros Stylianos Lerios goes for Greece in lane 6. But it's China by some way at the moment from the Greek swimmer Lerios.
And what China does is they have 4 S5 swimmers, all of them with tremendous kicks. It's a little bit of a slow changeover, but that's okay for prelims. Better to be safe than sorry, because the best way to get yourself disqualified during a relay is with a changeover with the DQ where you go too fast off the blocks. And here we're into lane 2. Guo Jincheng for China. Again, look at this kick. He's so far ahead of everyone else. Nobody is catching China during this relay.
So the male-male lead out, and then 2 female swimmers to come. Greece still in second to Antonios Tsapatakis. They start male-male as well. And Yaroslav Semendenko in the pool for Ukraine has Ukraine 3rd. He Shengao in the pool now for China. And she's got effectively a 25-meter lead as Greece touched the wall at the 100 mark.
And what she's doing is she's just doing a fly kick all the way down. You see her propelling. There's the undulation. She's going down. All she has to do is hang on to this lead. Now she's approaching the flags, the last 10 meters of the race. China is so far ahead. They just have to maintain that lead during this last 50, not get too excited. Again, a very conservative changeover start. It's very smart of the Chinese right now. You do not want to get yourself disqualified during the preliminaries and not even have a seat at finals.
So Lu Dong in the pool now for China to round out what is looking like a victory. Ukraine, though, find themselves into second position. Italy are moving up, courtesy of Antonia Fantin's superb 3rd leg. But Irina Poida doing wonderfully for Ukraine in the pool as she handed over to Veronika Korzheva. But it is People's Republic of China who are going to claim victory in this heat. Korzheva is closing really strong for Ukraine, but certainly not enough room in the pool left for Ukraine to make up that ground. China to the wall in 2:27.52. Ukraine second as Korzheva touches now, and it'll be Italy in 3rd as Fantin with his 3rd leg set up a chance for Bugioni to round out the 3rd place finish. Greece, after Stamatopoulou swam the 3rd leg, have Tsivilecki, the 12-year-old, in the pool. Sebastian Masabi, the S4 swimmer, will bring Canada home. So China, Ukraine, Italy, Greece, and Canada.
And here, right from the very first leg of the 4x50 relay, the Chinese, he almost stops before the next person dives in the water. A very conservative changeover. I like that approach for prelims. And the Chinese led from start to finish. Beautiful underwater here. This was the 3rd leg of the relay. You can see how far ahead they are. And then for the final 50, the Chinese just had to hang on as the others were closing quickly. Ukraine had a very fast last 50, but the Chinese by that time were way too far ahead. And it'll be interesting to see what they have in store for tonight, because the Chinese have dominated this relay for so long with that 4S5 combination.
Confirming the results, it is China ahead of Ukraine, ahead of Italy. Greece touching 2:52.59, but that is not going to be enough to see them into the final. Confirming the 8 finalists: USA, Brazil, China, Ukraine, Italy, Spain, Mexico, and Australia with 2:52.55 get themselves into the final. The USA and Brazil qualifying quickest, but China have the ability as well, certainly, to change their 4 competitors if they so choose. Now, we have a swim-off in the men's 100-meter breaststroke SB9. Did I jinx it?
Potentially.
I might just have. The swim-off. It's between two Brazilian swimmers who finished as the top two in the Pan American Games. World record by Poltavtsev in 2012 in London. So to event 23 we go. Lucas Lamenche Mozella and Juan Felipe Lima de Souza, both having swum 1:11.20, make their way out to the pool deck momentarily, and they will swim off. Now, it doesn't matter what time they swim, it only matters whether you win or lose. If you win, you're into the final. If you lose, you are not. Swim off to come, and then the end of the session. Flags of France and Argentina flying side by side. They're being waved proudly. Well, what a session it's been. I can tell you the men's 100-meter breaststroke SB9 swim-off has been cancelled, so that is the end of the session. Deb, a couple of highlights from the session for you.
Definitely the 100 backstroke in the for the men. Ihor Boki is going to have a very tough time tonight in the S13 men's 100-meter backstroke. I love watching the mixed 4x20, 4x50 20-point relay. The Chinese have dominated that for so long. And another good one to watch, we mentioned it at the start, and we have to say it again, the S11 women's 400 freestyle. Pagonis, Brunsfield, you never know who's going to win that one. Pagonis dominated in Tokyo. Can she do it again?
14 gold medal events to come then in the pool for the final session, but that concludes then the prelim session on day 2 of the Paris Swimming at Paris 2024. So from Paris Stade de France Arena, for now, it's goodbye.